Joe Biden gave ABC an interview yesterday that was unscripted and unfiltered. Trump was offered this same interview and turned it down. Surprise, surprise. So I wanted to look over a few of these clips and discuss some of the answers and the performance given by the president.
Are you the same man today that you were when you took office 3.5 years ago?
In terms of successes, yes. I also was the guy who put together a peace plan for the Middle East that may be coming to fruition. I was also the guy that expanded NATO. I was also the guy that grew the economy. All the individual things that were done were ideas I had or I fulfilled. I moved on. And so, for example, well, that was true then. What's Biden done lately? Today, just announced 200,000 new jobs. We're moving in a direction that no one's ever taken on. I know you know this from the days in the government. I took on Big Pharma. I beat them. No one said I could beat them. I took on all the things we said we got done. We're told we couldn't get done.
Biden does have a long list of achievements to stand on, something that Trump is without. He did take on Big Pharma and win. He cut medicine costs by 70% across the board and capped insulin at $35, achievements so good that Donald Trump tried to take credit for them. He cut child poverty in half, like that, with his child tax credit, expanded Medicare to millions more Americans in multiple states, has record job creation, including after recouping the jobs that Trump lost, something that has to go on his resume. Just last month, the report was 200,000 jobs created. That's 206,000 jobs created to be exact. That's 30,000 higher than Trump's pre-COVID average. He had 219,000 created just the month before. Most people only think that Trump's economy was better because he had a better starting point. He started here while he then left the economy gutted and falling apart. So Biden started here with the economy only for him to create 10 times the economic growth that Trump ever did by any metric you could look at.
You and your team have said you had a bad night, but your friend Nancy Pelosi actually framed the question that I think is on the minds of millions of Americans. Was this a bad episode or the sign of a more serious condition?
It was a bad episode. No indication of any serious condition. I was exhausted. I didn't listen to my instincts in terms of preparing, and I had a bad night.
You know, you say you were exhausted, and I know you've said that before as well, but you came, and you did have a tough month, but you came home from Europe about 11 or 12 days before the debate, spent 6 days in Camp David. Why wasn't that enough rest time, enough recovery time?
Because I was sick. I was feeling terrible. Matter of fact, the docs with me, I asked them, they did a COVID test because they were trying to figure out what was wrong. They did a test to see whether or not I had some infection, a virus. I didn't. They just had a really bad cold.
Biden was sick for the debate. He is an older man, and at the end of the day, he's a human. MAGA wants to make his campaign about the debate because they can't argue the successes. If they make it about legislation, it's really not even close. I will say it's sickening how all media coverage seemingly and most social media posts have circled around negativity towards Biden and trying to hyperfixate at this point to find the next gaffe to prove that the debate wasn't just a one-off. MAGA definitely got what they wanted in that regard, and that's what makes me consider if Biden is the right choice going forward. I think the last 3.5 years shows he's obviously capable. I mean, he has a multitude of successes, but if media and social media are going to be against him, clipping whatever 10 seconds they need to fit their narrative, it begs the question of what's the point?
In many of the battleground states, the Democrats who are running for Senate and the House are doing better than you are.
Well, that's not unusual in some states. I carried an awful lot of Democrats last time I ran in 2020. Look, I remember them telling me the same thing in 2020. I can't win. The polls show I can't win. Remember 2020, the red wave was coming. Before the vote, I said, that's not going to happen. We're going to win. We did better in an off year than almost any incumbent president ever has done. They said in 2023, all the tough races, we're not going to win. I went into all those areas, all those districts, and we won.
What a lot of this has to do with is MAGA is a cult that will salivate at the mouth to show their support for Trump. I mean, their outfits say it, their hats say it, they have flags in their yard to say it. So polls will always lean in their favor, especially this far from the election, because they're the ones giving the definitive answers 8 months before and jumping to do the polls and show that they support Trump, as no matter what happens, no matter what convictions, what comes out, they're going to vote for Trump. Democrat voters, however, are typically waiting to see how the campaign plays out, what gets said, what's promised. Some may withhold from polls because they're reluctant over some issues, but when it comes down to a Biden versus Trump matchup, their choice won't be Trump, and they're going to make that choice. Like me, for instance, I voted for Marianne Williamson in the primary. If you polled me back then when the primaries were happening, that's who I would have said that I supported. But in a Biden versus Trump matchup, I'm easily voting for Biden, and I'm not going to hesitate to do it. It's the difference between a political party and a cult, and that's why they were wrong in 2020. That's why they were wrong in 2022, and that's why they got wiped out off the map in 2023. If you enjoyed this video, we're Social Society. We're a commentary channel influenced by politics, society, and the economy. We are pretty left-leaning on this channel, but we're open to our right-wingers as well. The biggest thing here is having conversations that get everyone to the bottom of the truth. If that sounds like something that could interest you, consider smashing that subscribe button, leaving us a like, or even commenting on this video. We even have memberships available as low as $3 if you'd like to support, because the only way we become a society is together.